Hey everyone's Carlos from API. You guys have been requesting me to post some of the stuff that I did previously with my Gears of War costumes. Well, that's what you're going to get. A compilation of all the stuff that I did throughout the years. Bear with me. It's 15 minutes long, so hope this stuff helps you out. Check it out. First off here, this is one of the templates that I created for one of my earlier costumes. And same thing applies to all the newer costumes that you're going to see throughout the video. Now, if you notice, there's a slit on the lower part of the waistline of the costume. The reason for that is I want to put a curvature on that because sometimes your stomach isn't exactly flat. No pun intended. And I'm just outlining it with the Sharpie right now. I'm getting ready to cut this piece for the second costume. And this is the finishing product here. This is the finished product for the first layer of the costume, because this is a 3-layer costume. It's got a nice curvature. Piece in the middle helped out a lot. Good tuck. I'm using a Dremel tool to cut another piece that's going into that template. It's going into that piece. Sanding it down should give it a nice blend-in effect, like this right here. Looking good. That goes under your arms. Here's a second template, which is going to go in the back. It's also going to be shaped and cut, which is not seen in this clip here, but I'm going to do some nip and tucking on this piece. Where's a tailor when you need one, huh? Anyways, getting back to the front part of the template here, or the panel. It's looking pretty good. Should fit me like a glove. Good shape right there. There you go. It's looking pretty good. I guess we can continue with the next phase. Here's the pictures of the added applications, the other layers I added to this costume as it's coming along and progressing. It's got little pocket inserts right there to add lighting and electrical parts. These are the other two costumes that I created. They're my current costumes, as I'm showing right now, with the first costume that was completed using some plastic that I bought at the local hardware store. They use this stuff on bathrooms. It's very flexible, durable, and it bonds very well to the foam core material. It gives it a very sturdy feel, plus a lot of durability. And right here, showing off some lights that I added to this panel here. It's got some RGB lights, and in the back I added some blue LEDs. It's got, I think, about 6 LEDs inside that little compartment. And this is some EL lighting that I bought off eBay. I think I paid like $7. It has a good flicker effect. Alright, the way I created all these little angled plastic pieces here on the costume, what I did was use masking tape, which works very well. You just place it into the grooves or wherever area you want to apply it to, and you mark the area, the edges, and you got yourself an instant template. That's the way I did it. Very simple. Not too complicated. And you could use some scissors to actually cut these pieces off, so it's not that all that difficult to cut this plastic. And this shot right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a belt buckle to this costume, so I'm going to cut all this up. It's not going to be there, just dramatically going to be changed. Here's an example of the costume that was already completed, which is the one you saw previously. That's a before and after. This container here holds the housing for the batteries. It's 3 AAA batteries. Very neatly placed. This is the housing for the batteries. Here's an example with the lighting effects. Very nice looking. Here's some muzzle flash effects and a slow motion video. So I was trying out the costume. The smoke in the gun is from a fogger that I purchased called the Dragon Puffer. Picked that up on eBay for like 35, 40 bucks. Nice effect. This is the back panel. almost completed. It's primered black, and this is the finished costume with the helmet. It's got some lighting. Now that switch there came out of a flashlight. And that's some foam core material. It's got a recessed little circle there just to give it some looks. Very nice piece. Here's a second costume. As you notice, I made some dramatic changes on it. I applied more plastic on it to make it, to give it more durability. In fact, it looks a hell of a lot better with the plastic. So this costume, once it's completed, it's going to look dramatically different from the first costume that you saw. In fact, I think it's going to come out a hell of a lot better. The more I work on these costumes, the more complicated they become, but they also look more professional. And I guess it's just a matter of experience. And as I create more and more costumes, I gather a lot more experience. And this scene here, I'm using the belt sander with an 80 grit to round off the edges on this piece that's going to go onto the belt buckle. You can use a Dremel tool, but I prefer to use the belt sander. It gives it a more accurate roundness, more professional. Of course, sometimes it slips out of your hand. It's like trying to sand an eraser. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it with a 80 grit water sandpaper. Now I use the water sand because I want it to slide. I don't want it to rip the foam core. And I'm sanding it one-sided only, not back and forth, because you will tear into the foam material. You don't want to do that. That would be a waste of all that time that you worked on your piece there to recreate it again. And I'm sure you guys know about that. Next, I'm going to use the 350 grit watered down sandpaper just to smooth it down. Alright, as we continue on, we're sanding this piece down to smooth it down, get it ready for primering, which we'll do after. It's looking pretty good. Nice rounded effect. There's the finishing piece. It's looking good. Alright, we're back at the belt sander here, and I removed the buckle from the costume. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand down the back piece to 45-degree angle with the belt sander. Should give it a nice smooth finish. It's actually pretty easy to do this process with the belt sander. If you use a Dremel tool, sometimes it digs right into your foam core material, and then you have to redo it again, or just gonna have to deal with what you have. But with the belt sander, you could actually do a good job without too much strain. It's looking good. Okay, we're gonna get to the next phase after this. And right here we're gonna apply some plastic. We're gonna add a plastic piece there, laminate. Okay, this is the upper half of that panel of the buckle, just below the waistline. We're going to also sand that down to a 45-degree angle, and we're going to taper it as well. The reason we're going to taper it is because we're going to add a 1/4-inch panel of foam core material. It's already sanded down, and it's tapered with the Dremel tool. Pretty messy with a Dremel tool, isn't it? But it does the job. Don't have to worry about perfection back there, because it's going to have a panel and it's going to be glued right in there, just like that. That should work just fine. Okay, this is the plastic piece that I'm going to add to the buckle, the front. Once I add all these pieces, it's gonna look like it was vacuum form. So there's many levels you could use the foam core. You could either apply a paint job on it, or you could add plastic to it, which through my experience the plastic gives it a lot more durability. And sure as hell lasts you a lot longer. Here added the hot glue. I'm using the high heat because you want the plastic to be pliable, be able to shape it and mold it to your desired needs. In this case, you want to have a nice dovetail there, curve. Okay, it looks like it's fit right in place, and it's going to be ready to add the that little circle thing that goes in the middle. Next theme, I'm going to add the switch out of this flashlight. In that hole I used a wood bit to create the hole. It's got a pilot in it. Don't use a conventional drill bit because it will tear into the plastic. That's the conventional drill bit. The only reason I use that drill bit is just to hone the inside to make it rounder and a little bit bigger. And there's a piece already applied to the costume. It's looking pretty good. Hey, Kool-Aid! Looks like a mouth. Don't worry, all of this is gonna change. Okay, this is taking a long time. Alright, this is the piece that goes right into the attachments to the buckle. I gave it a nice curve there just to give it a more aerodynamic look. It's nicely fit. Looks like it's going to work. Now it's glued, and now I'm going to apply the masking tape to create the template for the plastic piece is going to be applied to this, which you'll see right now. Now we're coming towards the end of this video, so bear with me. That's where we're going to mark it. That's looking pretty good. I guess we're ready to mark the edges. There's the edge of the template. We're going to cut it with a pair of scissors and the X-Acto knife. Scissors work just as well as the X-Acto knife, but if you're cutting like within the plastic, you want to use the X-Acto knife because you could warp the plastic. Here's a completed piece, and we're going to fit it right into the desired location. That's looking good. Nice jigsaw puzzle. So hopefully this is helping you out. These ideas are helping you out to inspire you to make your own costume. It's looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Sharpie, and I'm going to mark the edge here, and that's going to be the threshold for the glue. Don't want to exceed that area. Now above there, there's like a little ridge there. To be continued. Sorry folks, stay tuned for the next video and for part 2, of course. Thanks for watching.